All right, let's jump right in. If you're a homeschooling family, you already know that the freedom to choose your child's education is, well, everything. But what if we could rethink the whole path through high school and into college? Today, we're going to break down a strategy that does exactly that. A totally different way to earn a bachelor's degree, debt-free, while your kid is still in high school.
And it all really boils down to this one core idea. I mean, this quote right here, it just nails the why behind homeschooling for so many of us, right? It's not just about getting good grades. It's about launching a young adult into the world who feels confident, has a clear vision, and is actually excited about what's next.
So if that's the goal, what's the big roadblock? Well, for a lot of families, it's the sheer pressure and just the inefficiency of the so-called normal path from high school to college. It's a system that a lot of us are already questioning, and honestly, for some really good reasons.
I mean, think about it for a second. The endless, mind-numbing hours spent prepping for standardized tests that don't really measure much of anything. The constant stress from deadlines and all that busy work that just feels pointless. And then there's the big one, that mountain of student loan debt looming over everything. This old way of doing things often means you're wasting time and money on credits that don't even transfer. And worst of all, it leaves so much less time for the stuff that actually builds character, real-world experiences, exploring passions, and just figuring out who you are.
But what if you could just sidestep all of that? This is where things get really interesting. We're going to look at what Smarter by One Degree is all about, and it's not just another program. It's a completely different strategy, a total shift in how you can approach the high school years.
And here's the secret sauce. It's what's called a degree completion program. So what on earth does that mean? Well, it means this isn't about just grabbing a random handful of college credits and crossing your fingers that they'll transfer later. No way. This strategy starts with the end goal in mind. They partner with universities first and then build the entire path backward, making sure every single class is pre-approved. It's a direct, guaranteed path to a bachelor's degree. Zero guesswork, zero wasted credits.
Okay, so that's the big picture strategy. It sounds great, right? But how does it actually work for a student day to day? Let's take a look at the actual learning method, because that's what makes the experience so much more efficient and way less stressful.
Now, let's clear something up, because this question comes up all the time and causes a lot of confusion. What is the actual difference between dual credit and what we think of as traditional dual enrollment? They might sound the same, but trust me, the approach is night and day.
And you can really see that difference laid out right here. On the right, you've got your traditional dual enrollment. It's basically a regular college class with rigid deadlines, a focus on grades, and plenty of busy work. But then you look at the SB1D way on the left. It's completely self-paced, so your student works on their schedule. The focus isn't on getting an A, it's on genuine mastery, which means they can strip away all that meaningless busy work.
So this whole student-first method is built on some really cool ideas. The lessons are bite-sized, which is just fantastic for focus and actually remembering stuff. They're designed for visual and auditory learners, making it so much more accessible, especially for kids with learning differences like ADHD or dyslexia. And with open note materials, the goal is about applying knowledge, not just memorizing it for a test. Oh, and like we said, absolutely zero time wasted studying for the SATs or ACTs. Ever.
Now, a flexible, student-focused way of learning sounds amazing, but does it actually deliver? Let's get to the bottom line, the part that really shows how powerful this strategy is, the actual savings in both time and money.
Okay, just look at this real-world example. A Bachelor of Business Administration. The direct university cost is almost $40,000. Through this program, under $11,000. That's a savings of over $28,000. For one degree, that's a huge deal.
And seeing it visually like this, wow, it really hits home, doesn't it? This chart just puts those numbers into stark relief. The difference we're talking about isn't some small discount. It's a complete game changer for the cost of college. In fact, when you look at the average across the board, families are saving around 73%. Just let that number sink in for a second. That can completely change a family's financial future. And the savings aren't just about the money. This part is arguably even more valuable. By weaving high school and college together, students are getting back 4 or more years of their life. Think about that. 4 years to start a career, travel the world, or go to grad school, all without delay.
So, you're probably wondering, okay, what's the catch? How is this all priced? Well, the model is refreshingly transparent and simple. It's just a flat fee per class.
And that fee is all-inclusive, which means no hidden costs, no surprises.
And when they say all-inclusive, they really mean it. That $249 fee covers everything. No extra charge for textbooks, no tech fees, no admin fees. It covers the custom materials, all the support, and get this, the student is earning both high school and college credit for the same work.
At this point, I'm sure a question is popping into your head. Is this program only for a certain type of kid? Is this some accelerated thing just for the gifted and talented students?
And the answer to that is a hard no. This quote says it all. It's a total myth that this is only for a select few. Because the whole thing is self-paced and focuses on mastery instead of speed, it's really designed to work for all kinds of learning styles and abilities. It's about finding a better path for any student who wants one.
And this is so important. The efficiency of the program isn't about rushing kids to the finish line. It's about creating time for them to actually live their lives and learn outside of a textbook, to get an internship, to volunteer, to master a sport or an art, and to build the real-life skills that are going to prepare them for adulthood.
So if this idea of completely rethinking high school and college is resonating with you, what's the best way to figure out if it's a good fit for your family?
Well, the process is super straightforward and supportive. It all starts with a simple free consultation. And this is not a sales pitch, okay? It's a real conversation to talk about your student and their goals. From there, you can get a completely customized plan that maps out what their unique path would look like, from day one all the way to their bachelor's degree.
And that really brings us to the final question, the one to just sit with for a minute. It wraps up the whole idea perfectly. Just take a moment and really imagine it. What could your teenager achieve? Who could they become if they started their adult life with a 4-year head start and absolutely zero student debt? The possibilities are pretty incredible to think about.